What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the main event mixer. I'm Mixer Cincinnati, one half of the Wrestling Junkies podcast. I am here with an esteemed fucking panel of colleagues here. It's Elimination Chamber, the final stop on the road to WrestleMania. Without further ado, let me get into introducing our panelists. To my immediate right, we've got one of the hosts of IW Guide. We've got Jay Gold. Jay Gold, how we doing, buddy?
Hey, always good. Always good. Nice to see you guys. Look, we got like the entire Elimination Chamber all in boxes here right now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna spear you through the box, Mr. Cincinnati, right on through.
That's okay. That's okay. As long as it draws, I am all in. Next to Jay Gold, we have the king of the live stream watch along. We've got Tino. Tino, what's going on, buddy? I feel like it's been a while since we've seen you.
I appreciate you having me on. Yeah, it has been a while, I think, since I've been on the Main Event Network. So I appreciate you having me on and ready for this pay-per-view and ready to start the road to WrestleMania.
Hell yeah. I'm also loving the John Cena hoodie. I would be rocking my Cena shirt. I've got that same one. It is still in the dryer right now. But once Showtime hits, that's what I'm going to be switching to. So you got some damn good taste, my guy.
Hey.
Next up, we have got two masters of the written word here. First up, we have got Four Locos own the Great Brown Hope. Alejandro, it has been more recently since I've seen you, and you've been popping up in the Junkies Pod chats as of late, but it is always good to see you on a mixer. How you doing, my guy?
Good to see you too, man. I'm doing good. You know, just living life and enjoying wrestling. So it's good to be here with you guys and shoot the shit a little bit.
I like it. I like it. Next up is the newest member of the Main Event Wrestling Network. This is the first time that we are all meeting each other. There has been no prior discussion or talk of any kind. So without further ado, please welcome Paperclip Mike. Mike, welcome to the Main Event Wrestling Network. We're going to put the spotlight on you for a few minutes. Tell us a little bit about you. Hey, that's what we do around here.
I didn't prepare a statement, but hold on. I got about 40 pages just in case.
I'm all ears.
Yeah. Well, I don't have the John Cena, but I got the new Danhausen.
Hey,
got that from the last time I saw him. So I do have the new hot Danhausen that got right from the table. I am, of course, Paperclip Mike. I used to host the Dropkicks and Attractions podcast that unfortunately is no longer around. However, I did just start writing It's Real to Me, Damn It, which once again, super proud of that title. REEL. It is a blog post where I talk about movies and TV shows that star a wrestler at some point, whether they're the main character, side character, or whatever. Just because it's my love of, I grew up watching TV all the time. I grew up watching wrestling. Why not combine them? The first one just dropped a few days ago where I talk about Mr. Nanny and how that's actually not a bad movie. And it's really not. I'm going to spoil it anyways, but the next one I'm going to talk about is They Live.
Okay. The best one. Let's go.
Yeah, and then I showed this to all the guys. Because I play Magic every week too. Right next door to the card shop's my local video game movie store. Just by accident, I found a movie called Maximum Conviction. It is a direct-to-DVD movie starring Stone Cold Steve Austin and Steven Seagal.
Yeah.
I was like, do I want to buy this? And I was just like, I want to buy it. And I was like, well, I guess that's the third one. So I had the next two in line at least.
Very nice. Very nice. Well, welcome to the Main Event Wrestling Network. Happy to have you. He is not on camera right now, but I'm going to give a shout out to Mr. OTM. He's probably going to bitch me out in the comments for doing this, but he on the production side of things. Just don't yell at me in a deep, gruff voice as we're kind of Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, make sure you give all of us a follow at Main Event_net for the Main Event Wrestling Network. We did celebrate a huge milestone today. We have reached 1,000 subscribers. So I believe that we're going to be giving away some merch as a result of that. So stay tuned. I'm waiting for Kyle to direct me as to when that's going to happen. Shout out to our friends at Gorilla Press Apparel as well. GorillaPressApparel.bigcartel.com. Use promo code MEM24. That gets you how much off at checkout, Kyle? I want to say 10, but I also want to say 25, and I don't want to be wrong. So anyway, 10%. Yes. Okay, gets us 10% off at checkout. Just wanted to double check that. I apologize. But again, it's nice to have all of you guys here today. Elimination Chamber. Fucking madness is kind of around the corner here in just a matter of hours at this point. We've got a number of great matches that we need to talk about here, and I'm going to start with Mike first. You're new to the network, and I just want to start by getting everybody's thoughts on the build of this card so far, and then we're going to get into breaking down each match. So, floor is yours.
Well, I don't think there's been a lot of build per se to this pay-per-view. This is basically just a side quest, so to speak, for WrestleMania. I mean, yeah, we built to the Elimination Chamber matches, but you can look, and I'll get into this later on, where because of the build of WrestleMania and the build of what they want to book for WrestleMania, I think that both the Elimination Chamber matches are foregone conclusions. They're I'm doing it wrong. They're stacked. Both matches are completely stacked. These might be some of the most stacked Elimination Chamber matches, but we already know, like, we especially with one of them, we already know going in more than likely who's going to win one of them.
Yeah,
I think.
Sure.
And then the other one, if you look on how they're booking the women's division, which once again, some of the stacked women's division we've ever had, I think that the women's Elimination Chamber is actually also pretty, like, at least to me, it seems obvious who's going to win that one. So I think this is just less, they're building towards, all the matches are building towards WrestleMania matches without having, you know what I'm trying to say? They're like the side stories to the main story.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. And I agree with your comparison of Elimination Chamber as a side quest on the road to WrestleMania, just because we've already had the Rumble in the books and have an idea of kind of where things are going to some degree. I think that there's more questions than answers when it comes to a particular segment that we're going to talk about that'll be happening tonight as well. But love that take, Alejandro. We're going to move over to you. What do you think so far about how we have gotten to Toronto so far?
Well, I mean, when you're booking No Way Out right before WrestleMania, only the main storylines are going to get the top booking. So what's going on right now is pretty much to be expected. The only thing I didn't like about the booking was sacrificing your brand new women's mid-card champions. That was, they both didn't need to be involved in the qualified matches to begin with, or if they were, they should have won. Kind of give the title a little bit of a spotlight on the Chamber. Or they could have had one of those belts defended for the Chamber as opposed to a number one contendership. But, I mean, it's not bad. It's not bad at all. I mean, we got to continue. I think this is going to be the end of Kevin and Sammy, maybe. And there's a bunch of ways they can go, but, I mean, it's mainly going to be about Tiffany and Charlotte and Cody and whoever he takes on. That's what's really going to matter at the end of the day. For
sure. And I agree 1,000% as far as the use of Lyra and Chelsea in the qualifying matches. I don't think that they needed to be there at all. I mean, we're finally starting to see the Ivy Nile build as far as the Intercontinental side. Chelsea's kind of had a few just scattered potential challengers, but I think it is time to lock into a story. I mean, these are two women that have worked their asses off and deserve a little love on the road to WrestleMania. So while it sucks that they were involved in the Chamber qualifiers and lost, I'm still optimistic that we will get some awesome programs at WrestleMania. Tino, you've been doing your watch-alongs. Take us through kind of what your big takeaways have been as you've done your streams going into Chamber.
Well, the one thing I'm going to say is, yes, I do the streams. And I don't know about you guys, but these 3-hour SmackDowns are killing me. So, I mean, I love that we're getting some other tag teams and stuff and other opportunities for people. But other than that, I don't know. But, I mean, I think it's been good. I think, the men and the women's, like Mike was saying, he feels like it is kind of, like, predictable on who's going to win and everything else like that. And, I said that at the Royal Rumble and everything, and I really don't know what's going to happen, and we can kind of see based on, like he said, about, like, the storylines of the women and kind of even what happened last night with, like, on SmackDown with, like, Logan Paul coming out with John Cena's music and stuff like that, or CM Punk. Like, we don't know which way it's going to go, but I'm very curious how much time the Rock promo is going to take up, because I've talked about it. I feel like it's going to take up, like, 40 minutes. And it just, like, that's the one thing. But the match I'm most excited for is Kevin and Sammy. I think that's been the best build, that, them going to each other's house, or the house, and then him in the arena last night. So that's the match I'm actually more excited for than, anything. Obviously the Chambers, but yeah, I mean, I think it's been good, but, I mean, we are, I just hope that we start getting to WrestleMania after this, because I feel like we've been, like, I don't know, but yeah.
Yeah, no, so as far as Kevin and Sammy, I'm also really excited for that one too. What we're seeing as far as Triple H and Shawn Michaels went in their booking philosophy, so to speak, they do take a lot away from things that they have done in their careers. I mean, Shawn Michaels made a Lost My Smile story with Ethan Page, and it went over like gangbusters. I love that Triple H is doing this one because when it comes to best friends turn bitter rivals and back again, Triple H and Shawn Michaels know just as much about that as Kevin and Sammy do. And SummerSlam 2002, that unsanctioned match is one of my top 3 personally. It's a fucking classic. But seeing them take that history and give it a 20-25 spin with Kevin and Sammy, these are 2 guys that are doing some of the best work of their careers right now. They've both recently just gotten paid, it seems like. So this is only the beginning of what they're both going to do in 2025. Jay Gold, last word is yours on the overall build before we get into some match predictions.
Sure. My biggest problem with the overall build is that, and I think the same thing happened with the Rumble, is that when you book an entire pay-per-view around 2 matches, which is the Elimination Chamber men and women, Royal Rumble men and women. Unfortunately, as much as I love Kevin and Sammy, and people are going to go crazy about this, it doesn't belong here. It belongs at WrestleMania. But you end up having these matches like the tag match that almost feel, the women's segments, it almost feels irrelevant. So you've booked yourself into this corner and it doesn't happen with every premium live event. It happens only with these big ones where you have this spectacle event that has to be for both men and women. So when you book a match, the Rumble for men and women and the Chamber for men and women, those are 45-minute to an hour matches. And you're just basically giving people time to wind down in between those 2 big headliners. So that's my one problem with this being here. When the Elimination Chamber was just 1 match, and it felt a little more like, hey, you're going to get 5 matches leading up to the Elimination Chamber, and they're all going to mean something. Now it is, you're getting 2 matches in between Elimination Chambers, and like, where are we going with them? So that's my only problem. I love the Chamber. I love all the visuals. I love the years of craziness, like Rob Van Dam's shin across Triple H's throat, like like when Goldberg what did he get tied up, and Steiner and Shawn Michaels winning in those ugly brown tights and all the craziness that went on. But you're booking yourself matches in between the spectacles, and I think they find themselves in a corner. But otherwise, I love the Chamber matches themselves.
Heck yeah, I like where your head's at with that, and from what I'm hearing, the match order is tonight. Sounds like Tiffany and Trish, or no, Women's Chamber, Tiffany and Trish, Rock Cody segments, kind of the split. Sammy KO, Men's Chamber. So it will be interesting to kind of see the energy of the crowd and based on that match order, what kind of pacing that we get with it. But let's actually start at that midpoint in the night here. The final boss is asking for the soul of our undisputed WWE champion, Cody Rhodes. Rock has come back and basically said, I can take you to heights you have never seen before. Will Cody do it? Jay Gold, I'm going to start with you on this one. This is not quite what we expected of the final boss on this road to WrestleMania, but now that we're here...
Yeah. Am I the only one who doesn't know what the fuck is going on? Excuse my language. What is going on? What do you mean you're selling? I want your soul. What the hell are you talking about? Like, I don't know what's happening. I haven't known what's happening. You got a belt and you wrote Cody Rhodes on it with the day that Dusty died. Why don't you write Dusty's name on it? What's happening? Like, I don't understand what's happening. What happens if he says yes? Then what? Is he Cody, like corporate Cody? Like, Cody, what's happening? Okay, you know what I'm saying, right? Yeah. I don't know. No, I watch this and I've watched it over and over again because I was like, okay, I got to do my homework. And I went back in and I watched it and I'm like, what the hell is he talking about? Why was that promo so long a week ago? Why was he outside last night with a weight belt or whatever the hell it was? Why didn't you give him a truck? Do you want a corporate champion? Then say corporate champion. Let's do a corporate angle. Don't use this silliness where you sell his soul. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what's happening. So go ahead. Let me see where it goes. But how is this helping me at WrestleMania? You have a chamber that has to have guys wrestle Cody at WrestleMania because Jay already picked Gunther. So what the hell does that mean if The Rock takes him? What if he says no? Does that mean all those guys in the chamber are meaningless and The Rock wrestles him? I don't understand.
Yeah. Sure. No, it's and I was I felt that same way watching that segment live. Of it, it just felt clunky, disjointed. And then I did do a second watch the next day, and it was kind of a well, maybe that is the intention of it here. The last time that they had any interaction on TV, minus the Netflix debut, was the night after WrestleMania, where a gift was given, a watch, which represents the concept of time. For all we know, the final boss has been stewing and sitting and watching Cody Rhodes make so much money for the company and thinking, well, you know what? This is my guy. If I can corrupt him and have him do my bidding, because Roman took forever to, he fucked up. And yes, he is the tribal chief now. That's just not going to work between the two of them. That it is one of those things where we've seen Cody be that guy, that face of the company, wanting him to essentially be anybody watch Succession here?
I've seen a couple.
Okay, all right. Well, basically being the fucking Tom of the family sort of thing there. But Tino, I'm gonna move over to you here. What do you think is gonna happen in this segment? What are you expecting?
I mean, I really don't know. And like as Jay Gold said, I mean, like it's just one of those things that it just like if he does say yes, what is he gonna do? Is he gonna dye his hair black tonight? Like, are we gonna have like some like makeover done or something? Like, I really don't know. And exactly like my question is also like I always say, where are they putting this in the card? Because you were talking about like the two matches in between. Where's this promo gonna be? Is it gonna really be the last thing?
Yeah,
like,
as far as we know, as far as the match order, like this is segment 3 of the night.
Okay, well, that's good. So that was my other thing too, and I didn't know that, so that's helpful. But I just like that's kind of my thing is like, where is it gonna go, and where does like I don't know, and I feel like this is like a different direction, and I think that would have been right on the weight belt. Why did it say Cody? Is like last year it said Mama Rhodes. Why not have it say Dusty? As awful as it is, and as whatever. I mean. I just, I don't know what they're going with it. But I mean, hey, if I'm getting a free car for it, I'm taking a free car all day long. I just take the benefits. And I wonder if Cody's going to have his J&J security come out with him tonight and everything. But I don't think Cody's going to say yes. I really don't. I think you're going to say no, and this will lead to something that The Rock finally snaps and we somehow see The Rock going back to what we saw last year when he was at the Allstate. So.
Well, J Dog says that he will sell his soul to you. So I don't know. You can.
I ain't asking for no souls. Listen, with J Dog, I am not taking your soul, bro.
But I personally agree that Cody says no. There was too much that happened on SmackDown last night to give you those different threads of what could happen. Drew talked to him. Punk talked to him. It just. Seth Rollins also coming out and getting involved in that as well. I love what they're doing as far as the story because it is easy enough to just it's easy enough to assume that it's Cody and that he will, because everybody's been waiting for Cody to turn heel for years. I personally really want to see, now that he's at the top of his game, what his heel work is going to look like. But as we sit here right now, it's going to be interesting to see kind of how this shakes out. Paperclip Mike, I'm going to turn it over to you. What are you thinking about this angle?
I don't know, and I don't know in a bad way. Like, the thing is, like, I've been watching wrestling since the 80s, and I like to be surprised, and I don't always, like, I can usually pick out, oh, it's going this way, it's going that way. Sometimes I like to be surprised, oh, I want to know where this is going, but there's a difference between I want to know where this is going and I don't know where this is going. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm a man of simple means. If someone offers me a truck and a crap load of sushi, I might sell my soul too. Like, I'm a big sushi guy. But the thing is, I feel this is, and from what we were talking about, like The Rock's last appearance was a last minute thing. I feel this seems like this is The Rock trying to push his nose into WrestleMania again, like he did last year, for no reason. Like, we already know, like, and once again, we kind of already know who Cody's going to face at WrestleMania. For the most part. Obviously, things can change, but why are we adding these extra Shang Tsung wrinkles about selling your soul? That I think you're just adding complications for no reason. It's just adding things that make no sense. Like and I'm not wrong. I love The Rock. I'm a big fan of The Rock. Attitude Era every week. We don't need The Rock. Like, this is just like last year. It added wrinkles to the finish of the story that we didn't need, And then now we're adding wrinkles to a story that we also don't need. This is a bunch of stuff that, and now we're taking up 30, 45 minutes, however long it takes. You could have put, like we talked about the women's mid-card matches earlier, and then we got the, all the other U.S. champions. You have a bunch of, you could have probably put 2 matches in there for any of the mid-card titles that aren't being defended right now in a segment that you probably could have done on Raws and SmackDown. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've never been a fan of in-ring segments and pay-per-views because you're just taking up time.
Sure.
What's the term when you write shoehorning, right?
Exactly. And this is The Rock shoehorning himself into an angle that he doesn't need to be. Like, I understood, at least last year, I understood why he was in the whole bloodline, tribal combat, tribal chief. That made sense to me because of who The Rock is. Now it makes no sense.
Mm-hmm.
Well, especially since who we all consider, who we all, I'm sure, are going to assume who's going to win tonight at the Elimination Chamber. The Rock doesn't need to be in that.
So I would say, just to play devil's advocate on this, and shout out to the podcast dad who's currently stuffing his face full of jambalaya and shrimp and grits and getting Mardi Gras beads down in New Orleans. But he made this point on our show last week. We have had a dominant monster villain in Roman Reigns for the better part of 4 years now. That we have a monster babyface in Cody. We don't have a monster villain for him to continue to go up against if he, as champion as we sit here right now. That ultimately, I don't think that Cody is the guy that sells his soul. It is one of the 3: Punk, Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins. Because if you have the final boss's backing and have The Rock kind of be in the background lurking without necessarily being on TV and having that presence felt by way of a proxy, that is a way for one of those 3 guys that kind of got in Cody's ear to generate monster heat, because all 3 of them have done fucking phenomenal work as villains throughout their WWE careers. So if it is not Cody, it is somebody that is going to be a pain in his fucking ass for at least the next 12 to 14 months at this point. So as clunky as this setup was, I do think that this is a step to do something massive once we get to WrestleMania. So that's my thought. Alejandro, tell me what you think about this one, man.
I think what happened was when The Rock came out and the whole surprise announcement he's going to be on SmackDown, I think all of that was booked on the fly because they announced he was going to be in some movie, and immediately the wrestling community was like, oh, he's not going to show up in WWE. He's not going to be at WrestleMania. The whole 1, 2, 3 was for nothing. Like, the internet went nuts over it instead of being like, oh, what movie is this going to be? Like, what's The Rock going to be doing in this movie? Who's The Rock playing? No. The internet went crazy over it. So that was more of their damage control kind of thing. And I don't think they had it figured out with where they were going to go with it. And that's, I think, where The Rock came up with I Want Your Soul. Because he couldn't think of anything else on the fly while he's out there. And that's why he went on and on, switching between face and heel, catering to the crowd and hating on the crowd. It just seems like a big mess that wasn't figured out or put time into, so to speak. And with that, now you have a scenario where Cody has to pick if he's going to join The Rock or not. This kind of gives me flashbacks to WrestleMania 17, where Stone Cold joined Vince McMahon. So I get those kind of feels for it. And to jump back on what you said earlier, if it's not Cody, who else could pull it off and be the monster heel that they need, where in this case would be with The Rock. And the only one who I think could pull that off is CM Punk.
What about Drew
He's
McIntyre?
the only one.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Drew McIntyre's already been a heel most of the time, and he can't really be the monster heel without, doing something that takes him to the next level. But
he's lost too many times. He's lost way too many times to be anything important at this point. They've booked themselves out of that one.
And Drew McIntyre's got that like cocky kind of coolish heel. Like even when we watched the Elimination Chamber kickoff yesterday, he got cheered by the Toronto crowd and then has to kind of get them to boo him again in what he delivers. But again, CM Punk is one of the, this is the same guy that signed his WWE contract on a Ring of Honor World Championship. If there's anybody that knows how to generate heat and make you turn on him in a fucking instant, all he's got to start bringing up is everything that he has done with leading up to his WWE return and like leaning into this is what people already think about me anyway. I can get slimy as a heel, which I don't think Drew McIntyre can.
And now his promos after will be, hey, I got my WrestleMania main event. I got my WWE Championship. Cody didn't jump on the opportunity, something like that. And
you
now
know what
CM Punk's
this? But
gonna show up in Bentleys.
Hunter, you know what this feels like?
Huh.
You ever look at a quilt and all of the designs of like a quilt that's sewn, everything is in the right order, and then you notice somewhere on that quilt that there's like 3 strings that are going in the wrong direction, and you're like, that's really messing up my eye. I'm not enjoying. I can't look at this. Or like you're looking at a pattern, and one of the you got pattern, and then one small piece is not right, and then the whole thing is kind of like uncomfortable. That's the way this feels. Like they had something that they wrote, and this thing just kind of, this is the coffee stain on like a novel. Like you just spill it right where it doesn't belong. And you're like, I don't really know what we did here, but my brain is not computing this at all. My brain is not helping me find the connecting threads of this, why he's doing this. If they would have started this a year ago, great. Like, talk about the soul before you left. Instead of going on Netflix and going, hey, I'm The Rock and I'm so happy Cody's here and blah, blah, blah. Shut up. Like, just do something that was going to set that. Instead, they set something in motion too late. And now it's almost like something stuck in the gears and it's not moving ahead the way it should.
Yeah. Final word. Kyle, if you could put up the comment by Jay Gold, where not Jay Gold, excuse me. I forgot the name that quickly, but yes, J Dog. I apologize. Yes, this comment here, Rock versus Cody. I think, and this is just my personal opinion as far as the theme that we're going to get, so long as Dwayne's on the board of directors, whether we like it or not. He's one of the most powerful men in entertainment. He is, his schedule is always going to fluctuate. I feel like there are some things that just can't be controlled as far as the timing of when he says that when he gets that clearance of he is able to come back and do things. We'll see if this happens for a 3rd straight WrestleMania, but at least they are learning from the mistakes of last year, where they very clearly tried to take that main event away from Cody to give us Rock versus Roman, and because of the fan backlash, they pivoted and found a way to compromise. At least they're thinking about that as they have kind of come across this here. You can still have the involvement of The Rock without necessarily always feeding into the speculation of, oh, he's got X amount of time free. Is he going to get ready to get back into the ring? I don't know how long he wants to wrestle. However long that is however long that is. But I do think that they need to start preconditioning fans to Rock involvement in WrestleMania does not always need to mean him lacing up boots. He can still control the puppet strings, because, I mean, this is another layer that we haven't looked at, is he was the fucking corporate champion. He was. So if anybody knows how to take that story and retrofit it as, okay, this was me then, now I'm in control and I have that power to do this, that could be a lot of fun. I would like to see a better build to Rock versus Cody. So I'm hoping whoever this corporate champion is, I don't think it's Cody. I hope that it gets the love that it needs throughout the year, and not just once January hits the calendar and now we have to kind of ramp things up. So moving on, next match, we have got Tiffany Stratton and our WWE Hall of Famer Trish Stratus, celebrating 25 years in WWE, taking on Nia Jax and her little candy cane, Candice LeRae. Gentlemen, this is a fun tag team match. We saw Trish come back at the Royal Rumble to a monster pop. Tino, I'm going to start with you on this one. What are you thinking? Who you got?
I mean, I feel like this one is going to be really easy. I feel like Trish and Tiffany are obviously going to win this match. Trish is going to get that hometown pop. I mean, it's going to be, I think Candice and Nia will obviously do what they always do, and it will be a good match for what it was. But I feel like this will also be after one of the chamber matches, and this is going to be the one that people go to the bathroom with and everything else like that. They'll probably wait for Trish to come out, but I think it's going to be probably the shortest match of the night too. And I'm excited to see Trish, but I mean, I feel like it's also she's not going to get in the ring maybe as much, because obviously, but again, I could be wrong and everything, but I think Tiffany and Trish will definitely win, and we'll see them go over at some point, and that's about it with this one. I feel like there's really not too much to this one.
All right. Mike, who you got?
Yeah, I do have to agree that Trish and Tiffany are going to I'm a huge fan of all four, especially all hail the Queen Nia. I know I'm not the only one here at the channel that's that disagrees with that sentiment. I think this one's gonna be good. Like, I don't think there's a bad match on the card at all. I do think that obviously hometown hero Trish is gonna get the monster. She might get one of the biggest pops of the night. Tiffany came out of nowhere. I like that she's like all four of these people are really good. I think honestly, I'd also agree this may be the shortest one because the chambers and then the other non-chamber match is not going to be a short match. So I think this is going to be the shortest one. However, if there is a chance that Nia and Candice win, I think that's where you're going to see Charlotte. Because I know we're getting Charlotte and Tiffany at WrestleMania, which I'm actually excited for. I think that could be really good. I think if Trish and Tiffany win, I think it's going to be a clean win. But I think if Nia and Candice win, I think that's going to be because of Charlotte.
Yeah, no, I like your take on that. And I know that J-Dog's comment, I saw that out there. This doesn't belong on the card. Sometimes it's as simple as
I disagree with that.
Yeah, Toronto.
Yeah,
Toronto hometown crowd.
that.
Trish Stratus is celebrating 25 years in WWE, and if there's anything that we've learned about TKO and their approach to anything related to WWE is what can we do to make as much money off of it as possible. We're seeing the 25 years of Trish Stratus legacy merch. The legacy titles are out. There's 350 of those that they made. If there's an opportunity to get a hometown pop from a Hall of Famer who's celebrating some milestone of any kind, you're going to find room to put them on the card. It's sometimes it's just that simple when it comes to booking a wrestling card. Yeah.
Honestly, I think, and this is gonna be a hot take right here. I think The Rock could learn a thing or two about the nostalgia trip from Trish Stratus. I think The Rock is going towards that Hulk Hogan level of I'm here. I need to do something. I need to be big. I need to be on the front. I need to be the top.
Thank you.
He's going the Hulk Hogan route. He should go the Trish Stratus route. Like, don't get me wrong. The Rock is in much better shape than Hogan was at that point in his career. Because, he was in his, the WCW, he was in like his 40s and he was in rough shape then. Trish comes in. She comes in a few times a year, smiles and waves. She's obviously still in phenomenal shape, ring shape on top of that. Maybe do the occasional match. She'll do the chick kick, all that stuff. Give the fans what they want. And then she goes off and does, she's crazy busy with all the stuff she does. She has a lot of stuff on her plate. And I think that people would have, I didn't get The Rock is like on the board of directors. What he says goes. He can just come in whenever he wants. But I think if he follows what Trish does, I think he would be more better received than he is now. And that's just, I know that's a big hot take on that, but
no, I definitely get where you're coming from with that. Because right now the pops are still big for The Rock, but I do see the fact that there can be a diminishing return on that as time goes on, depending on how it is that he is used. But yeah, like you said, he's on the board of directors, so I mean, he has financial motivation to be involved during WrestleMania season. That's capitalism at its finest. But yeah, no, I think that's a really, really fucking great take as far as, Trish is somebody as far as the legends that we have seen come in that has been very protective. I think the only other person I could think of is Austin, because he did come back for that one program with Kevin Owens. But other than that, he has mostly just kind of said, I'm good. And Trish, again, yeah, she had the involvement with Zoe Stark that I wish would have turned Zoe into a bigger star than she currently is right now, but she's still on the roster. So it kind of is what it is in that respect. But J-Dog, as far as match order tonight, women's chamber, tag team match, Rock and Cody segment, unsanctioned match, men's chamber. Next up, we have got, and we've already kind of talked about this Rock and Cody segment here. So let's get into the
Mr. Cincinnati. Can I just throw something out there? Let me throw something. Sorry, guys. Let me throw something out there.
No,
what could have this match? I agree with J-Dog. It doesn't belong on the card, but not because of hate. What I think would have gotten more value is if you had Trish versus Tiffany. Tiffany goes over Trish. Looks like I think Tiffany's in the mud right now as far as her title reign. She goes over Trish, gets that big rub, Trish can stay on and be like, I really respect you. They wrestle a great match. Let's say somebody interferes, Nia interferes, Charlotte interferes.
Yeah.
Tiffany looks like a star because she gets up and in, and then Trish can continue because she's already a star. So I think you missed an opportunity to get Trish like that singles pop when she comes out.
Sure.
And instead of doing a tag match with, I love Candice LeRae, but what's the value of Candice LeRae being in the match? There's not a lot of value. If you had a championship match right there, you gave it some more of a shine. The Elimination Chamber for the women would mean more. Tiffany going over would mean more, and Trish, taking the pin in front of her crowd would have done something else. So I think they needed something different. Just you didn't have to. Trish needed to be on the card. They needed something different. This tag match wasn't it.
Fair. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I get what you're saying.
And I just want to piggyback real quick on when he was talking about how Tiffany's title reign hasn't been the best. I honestly think, to be fair, none of the singles title holders are doing good reigns at all. And I'm talking even Cody.
Mm-hmm.
Cody's reign, honestly, hasn't been as good as, like, what was it? Like last year, there was a 4-month period. He didn't even defend the title, like 4 months in a row.
Yeah.
Gunther's hasn't been that good. And like I said, I'm a huge Gunther fan. Been since the Indies. Braun's second title reign hasn't been that good. Nakamura's honestly hasn't been the best.
His might be
none of the women's titles have been that good at all. Like I said,
too many belts.
Yeah, like you had when you had the women, the mid-card titles, which I agree with. I don't agree. I think Dakota should have won, but that's neither here nor there. So you're gonna have these women win these titles for the first time, and then their first big match they lose. Like none of the single NXT is different, but in I would say the main two shows on WWE, none of your singles champions have been booked solid. None of the title reigns have been like, oh, this has been a good reign at all. None of them.
Yeah, that's fair. And
you didn't even mention Braun Breaker.
Oh, he said it. He said Braun's wasn't great. His second
title. I didn't even hear
the second title. The first one, yes. The second title, second reign, not so much.
Mm-hmm.
Fair. Gentlemen, we do have to move on. I'm getting yelled at in my ear here. Women's chamber match. We've got Naomi, Bianca, Alexa, Liv, Roxanne Perez, and Bailey. Jay Gold, I'm going to start with you. Winner gets Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania. Who you got?
That's so, I don't know. I don't really know what I care about here. Like Rhea, oh, man. Would I have wanted to see Rhea Charlotte 2 or 3 or whatever that was because they didn't get their kudos during COVID? Yeah, I probably would have rather seen Charlotte Rhea. So now I'm assuming, I don't know if they're going to give me Liv 2. Roxanne Perez doesn't belong just yet. Oh man. The only one I can say at this point would be Liv. I don't see anybody else adding the kind of value that we want. Do you look at that card, those wrestlers in there, and go, there is a match in there for WrestleMania? I don't know.
I feel like there's one.
Maybe Alexa.
I think there's two personally.
What I'm more than happy to hear because I honestly can't see it. I can't see it.
So Bianca versus Rhea, that one's kind of the obvious one. I don't know if it's by intention or just happenstance, but Rhea and Bianca have been kept away from each other for the majority of their entire WWE runs. They've teamed up for Elimination Chamber, but for the most part, they've been kind of kept in passing. Bianca is my obvious favorite to win this match. However, my concern would be, okay, we're going to hotshot the booking of this match to get to WrestleMania because she won. Whereas this is a rivalry and a match that is a dream match that you have the opportunity to pull off, that you can do a year-long build to this and get them a little bit more involved with each other. But if Bianca wins this, I feel like we're going to get some hotshot booking out of it. Roxanne, to kind of play devil's advocate to your point here, she was the Iron Woman at the Rumble. If she has a phenomenal showing and wins this chamber match tonight, she has been a cocky little shit for the better part of a year and a half because of this third NXT Women's Championship reign. She thinks that she's unfuckwittable. Rhea Ripley will humble her ass at WrestleMania. If Roxanne loses in her first WrestleMania, that's okay. She's going to main event again. She's only 23 years old. In a perfect world, if you're lucky, you could have 20 more years of Roxanne Perez. Tino, your thoughts on who wins this match?
Well, I mean, I think you said it perfectly with Roxanne, and that's the thing. I mean, I think like with a lot of this too. I mean, I don't know. I feel like Liv and Raquel will most likely defend the titles at WrestleMania and some sort of multi-woman tag team match or something like that. I feel like Jade is gonna come out maybe at some point. She said her return is imminent. We thought it was gonna be at some point when they lost the titles on Monday. It did not happen. So I feel like that. So I feel like we could have it's down to Bayley, Roxanne, and Bianca. And I personally, as you said, I would love to see Roxanne win. And I am gonna say Roxanne wins just because I like to have bold predictions, and you never know if it happens, it happens. But I also do think that Bianca could happen because we've been seeing that match teased for a long time. But as you said, having that year-long build would be a lot better. And I feel like the year-long builds sometimes do make the match feel a lot more meaningful than having, what are we at, 40-something days till WrestleMania or something now? So
Yeah.
I'm going to say Roxanne wins just to be a little bold, but I mean, that's like I said, only because I feel like there's other things that could happen. And if Roxanne doesn't win, I think we're going to get Roxanne and Bayley at WrestleMania because as I do watch a lot of the old Elimination Chambers and stuff, I've noticed that they set up a lot of matches from these chambers. And I feel like it's going to be the exact same from both of these tonight. So I'm going to say Roxanne wins.
Okay. Interesting point from J-Dog here. Bianca wins this. Jade appears in some way. Do we think that Bianca and Rhea get some attention knowing people want Jade versus Bianca? If Jade, for some reason, shows up, let's just say mid-match, I don't think that Bianca wins it. I think that we kind of have to get the next turning point of this attacker story because we are running out of time on the road to Mania, and you want to make sure everybody's back and can kind of let the story breathe with the 8 weeks that you have to go, especially because it's been something that it's taken them so long to start releasing the footage of Liv and Raquel and things of that nature that my personal thought, if Jade shows up mid-match, I don't think that Bianca wins. But Mike, tell me your thoughts.
Looking at, like, once again, I'm looking at who's in the chamber match and what matches that have been discussed for WrestleMania. I think, to me, the only person that's going to win is Alexa Bliss. Because if you think about it, there's also like, and a lot of my thoughts have been what everybody has already said. Like, I think we're going to I don't like the idea of Roxanne getting a title shot right away because once again, she's going to be there for a long time. You said she's what, 23?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's going to be there a long time. We don't need, like, I'm not a fan of, they're coming out, you get the big name from NXT, they get the title right away, or they get a big shot right away. She's got time. And you're doing the whole Bayley versus Roxanne build, which I think would be a great match at WrestleMania. Liv just won the tag titles this past week. And from what I've seen and heard, that her and Raquel are going to have a decent reign with it. So there's no need to, because if you give her the title shot at WrestleMania, that means you're not getting a tag title match at WrestleMania, which means Raquel's not going to be there, which then you're diminishing your tag division, your women's tag division.
More than
and then you got Naomi and Bianca and Jade. I think that's going to be some sort of nucleus for WrestleMania, whether it's, I think we're getting Jade versus Bianca. I think they're finally pulling the trigger on that. And I think Naomi's going to be a part of that. So to me, the only one left is Alexa. Like, do I think Alexa's going to win a Mania? Maybe not. But I think she, to me, logically, going by what I've been seeing, I think she's the only logical choice to win tonight.
Sure. Okay. And to go to J-Dog's point here, Alexa win makes no sense. Wyatt 6 closing in on her. I wouldn't necessarily classify it as closing in on her. Given the relationship that she had with Bray Wyatt, this is potentially her being indoctrinated into the Wyatt 6, and about a group that lost a lot of momentum.
Nikki Cross again too.
Exactly. Yeah, you can get her and Nikki again, which there's always a need for tag teams, and I don't want to belabor the point too much just because we have to keep things moving. But to talk about too many titles, I don't think that we necessarily have too many titles. We have, because there's a deep roster that WWE has right now. There's an insanely deep roster that you can take advantage of these titles. It's putting the stories behind them that becomes the issue. But to make this final point before moving on to Alejandro here, Wyatt 6 and having Alexa Bliss become part of that group, and then that group getting the Rhea Ripley rub as far as, okay, a member of this group has a WrestleMania program with one of the top stars in the company. This is a shot in the arm that group could use. But Alejandro, final word to you as far as your thoughts and who wins the Women's Chamber.
I think it all comes down to what the fallout is for the other matches and what the booking is going forward. So I don't think they're going to put as much of a spotlight on any of the women's matches this year. And I'm still kind of on the fence on if Rhea's going to beat Io or not. So there's also that factor into the equation.
Okay.
But I honestly think it's going to be Roxanne Perez that wins. Everybody else is tied up in other things. Obviously, Bianca and Naomi got to deal with Jade Cargill. Or if it's Liv and Raquel that did do it, they got to deal with that. So either way, they're all going to be intertwined in that. Alexa Bliss is caught up with Wyatt 6. So I don't think we would benefit from an emo Rhea versus a spooky Alexa that much when we can have them in two separate matches. But it just depends on what else happens for WrestleMania. But just going with a straight pick, we'll go with Roxanne.
Okay. I like it. So J-Dog, so we think Naomi attacked Jade. I would say it's highly likely.
Yes.
It's kind of it's one of those stories that I cannot wait to see this other shoe to drop, and I'm hoping that we get it tonight. Next match that we have up is the unsanctioned match: Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens. Again, these guys have fought each other countless times over the last 20 plus years. This is probably the most personal build that they've had to one of these matches, certainly in WWE. Family is being discussed now, and it's kind of you're not supposed to bring wives and children into it. You're not supposed to invade or cross that fine line. But they both have done it, and Sammy's more remorseful than Kevin Owens about it. Alejandro, let's start with you, my friend. Who wins?
This feels like a WrestleMania match, but I'll take it for the Chamber. I mean, it's the only place you can go all out, and who knows, maybe they'll even lower the Chamber just for their match so they can stay inside and fight it out and make a mess.
Good idea. It's a really good idea.
To be honest, KO has just been running amok, and he kind of needs a victory more than Sami does. People are going to love Sami Zayn no matter what. Every time Sami Zayn's La Vida Loca plays, people go crazy, man. So you can't stop that kind of, you don't stop that kind of momentum at any time, no matter what he does. People are going to love this guy. And even if he were to cross over to the dark side and join Karrion Kross, which he should, people are still going to love that guy. You can't hate Sami Zayn, but you got to give Kevin Owens the win. He's done so much for everybody else who's been putting over the bloodline for, 2.5, 3 years?
4 years.
Maybe and then with Cody and stuff. So, give him a win for now. Randy Orton shows up, and they deal with it at WrestleMania.
Yeah, I mean, Randy Orton's also another big return that we're looking at here. Kevin Owens coming off of the loss to Cody in the ladder match at the Rumble, and then also losing Saturday night's main event as well. He definitely needs a win here. That's my personal pick that KO wins. But Mike, let me know what you're thinking.
Yeah, 100%. I'm a fan of the original Ring of Honor, not so much the new one, but like the original Ring of Honor. And my all-time favorite Ring of Honor match, and I used to have this on DVD, was Final Battle 2011.
I was there.
Yeah, so you know exactly what match I'm talking about. They main evented Final Battle that year. It was El Generico, who's, he's doing his orphanage stuff now. But it was El Generico and Kevin Steen in a fight without honor match, which actually got match of the year. I think, was it Wrestling Observer gave it match of the year.
Yeah.
Because they had a year-long story build with that, and the match was amazing. I know we're not going to get as brutal as that match was. Blood, unprotected chair shots, all kinds of stuff. If they can give an inkling of what that match was tonight, this is going to be my pickup match of the night. And I think Kevin's going to win because he needs the win. Once again, Sammy's at that point where they're going to love him regardless.
Yeah.
Sammy, I think, is up to that, not level on the card, but Sammy's got that Jey Uso thing where no matter what happens, win or lose, they're going to love him. Yeah,
I would say I would go a step further and say that Sami Zayn's this generation's Mick Foley, because
I can see that.
That lovable, there are very few people that know how to invoke emotion in their character work the way that Sami Zayn can. He knows when to inject levity. He knows when to be dramatic. He knows when to bring rage, brutality, and anger. That it is again, he is a lovable motherfucker.
Mhm.
Tino, your thoughts?
I went back and forth. I went back and forth on this match a few times all week and my preview show and then on the short I made. And after listening to what you guys were saying and everything, I do think that Kevin Owens is going to win this match, and I do agree. I do think the only way Sami Zayn does win is if we do see a returning Randy Orton, because I do think that if we are going to see Randy Orton return, I feel like this could be a very good place, and it would set up the match that they've been talking about with Kevin Owens and Randy Orton at WrestleMania this year.
Mm-hmm.
And as you guys talked about with Sami Zayn and Karrion Kross and everything else, I feel like that's what they're doing with Sami most likely. And it might not be everybody's favorite thing, but I mean, I still think that they can go out there and put on a really good match. But Sami and Kevin are going to go tear the house down in Toronto, and I think that's the reason why it is happening at the Elimination Chamber and not at WrestleMania, is because it is in Toronto and it is in their hometowns and everything else like that. Because as Mike said earlier, I feel like this was a WrestleMania match that honestly, this is what I thought we were getting at WrestleMania. But as I thought about it, I was like, that's probably exactly why they're doing it. So it's going to be really good and exciting, but I'm going to take Kevin Owens to win because, as everybody said, he does need that win really bad.
All right. I like it. Jay Gold.
Yeah, I agree. Kevin Owens. Mike, I was at Final Battle 2011, Final Battle 2012, Final Battle 2014.
I was at 2012 too.
That was the ladder match, right?
No,
Steen and
2012
Generico?
2012 was Steen and Carino.
When was the ladder match? 13?
13.
So then I was at that one. So 11, 13, 14.
Yeah, because I was actually at the Final Battle, and Kevin Steen walked right past me. I had third row on the floor on the aisle, and he walked right past me. So I was right by him which was another good match, by the way, too.
But you could feel like these guys, the chemistry, it doesn't. So the best part about them, and this is the only thing I want to go off on this because we have our next one going, but you can put they can wrestle every year at WrestleMania. You can literally have these guys wrestle every year. You'll have a different ending, a different style, and someone else can peel into this. So I'm thinking, and my last thoughts on this is I think package pile driver, Steen wins. Owens wins. He's up there doing his thing. Bam, Randy Orton's music hits. The two of them have a stare down. Owens looks all upset, like, because he can't believe he took his moment. And the two of them go to WrestleMania. So that's how I think this one's going to end. But I think it's going to be a ridiculous. They're going to let them go. There's no Vince there anymore. Triple H is going to let him go. You guys want to put a package pile driver through the announcer's table? Go right ahead. He's going to let him go.
Yeah, I agree.
Started outside.
Started outside.
Yeah,
you're right.
There we go.
Yeah,
in the parking lot. Started outside, like outside the building.
Yeah, in the street.
Yeah, give me something like Goldust, Roddy Piper. Like
Yeah,
start
that's what I
out
was
in
thinking
the
of.
street of Toronto. Do something awesome like that.
Yeah,
Surrounded by cars.
J-Dog, I think this is going to be the longest match of the night here. There's a lot of story to tell. They're going to get a lot of wiggle room to go. Jay Gold, I really enjoy your thought of having Randy come out after the match, spoil the celebration. The only thing I would do differently is don't play that music out of nowhere. Just let him pop through the crowd. Once you see that come out, crowd's going to go nuts ananyway.
Like you did with
that
Jared,
element of surprise over I Hear Voices, I think, would be much larger. And Brad, to your point, I think that's the WrestleMania match here. I mean, they made the point of writing Randy off of TV for the sake of the package pile driver and kind of building to this return that Kevin is not thinking about Randy Orton in the slightest until Randy Orton is going to make him think about him. So, gentlemen,
real quick. Owens dropped him on his head, right?
Yes.
What if he came back as a different Orton?
Bald Orton?
Like a previous version of Randy Orton.
Like Tony Storm.
The Ozone. He comes out as like rookie, white meat babyface Randy Orton.
Yeah. He comes out like that.
Yeah. Doing the overdrive as a finisher. Yeah.
Pops his shoulder out for old time's sake. Can't get his arm up,
I mean, because he's been around, like 20 years now almost?
Gotta be.
23. Yeah.
Oh.
23.
So he's like a novelty act at this point, but he's always going to be right there, right under the main event. So I mean, just to do a little cosplay of a previous version for one time, why not?
I just don't see that because Randy Orton is not
I'll drink to that.
Yeah, but I think Randy Orton is not a what's the term without pissing off all the other wrestlers?
Sure
He is
thing.
not one of those like young guys who is like, it'd be cool if if CM Punk wore his white, basketball shorts to the ring, or if I wore a Bret Hart tights. Randy Orton's like, I am Randy Orton and I have evolved to this and I am never going back. And I think he just is too old and too like seasoned to be like, yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and do that. So I think he's going to come out, be vicious, and the two of them are going to go at it and their promos are going to be great. And there's not going to be any goofing off. Like there's not going to be any Owens goofing off on like Elijah. You know what I mean? It's going to be Orton and Owens literally hating each other for the next 40 days.
Plus, nobody did it better than Tony Storm anyways, so.
No, not even close. Gentlemen, we do have to move on to the main event, men's elimination chamber match. We have got Damian Priest, Logan Paul, Seth freaking Rollins, CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, and for the final time, John Cena. The farewell tour rolls on. Winner gets Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania. Jay Gold, I am going to start with you. There's a lot of moving parts in this match, and a lot of it hinges on what happens kind of that midpoint of the night. So tell me what you're thinking. I'm
thinking CM Punk. I think J-Dog mentioned Cena and Logan Paul, and I do think Cena. I think people underestimate what Cena is doing right now, which is he's not. They're not going to give him a title. I don't think he deserves one. He's almost 50, or he is 50. There's nothing he's going to do. And even when you see him move around, he's not the same guy. I want to see Punk and Cody, and I want to see something between Punk, The Rock, and Cody. Like, I want to see a verbal exchange again. Remember the your arms are too short to box with God type of thing? I want more of that from Punk, and I want them to go, the three of them, I want them to go at each other. I have no interest in seeing Drew. I have no interest in seeing Cena. I have no interest in seeing Rollins. I think Rollins Reigns is going to be the match there. And I have no interest in seeing Logan Paul ever win a title right now, another title. He's fine. Whatever. I love the fact that dude can do anything he wants. Go out there and do anything you want, but just not in the main event at WrestleMania.
No, he doesn't need it.
I love Punk for this, and I want to see Punk and Rock. I want to see Rock try to do his nonsense with his weight belt and all that stuff, and then Punk just verbally assault him, and then like things just kind of get out of hand. That's what I want to see. I want to see Punk as a face, and then we'll go. So I'm going CM Punk is going to win this match.
All right, Tino.
I want CM Punk to win, and I do think that he has a very good chance to win, but I am going to stick with John Cena to win this because I think that the favorite with Punk, I think that's how he's going to get into his main event is the WrestleMania. Somehow, some way, that is going to be in the favor. And as you said, I feel like Drew and Priest, they've talked about it, and I feel like they said that was going to be the WrestleMania match, but then Drew was all upset and everything. But I feel like that's more or less what they're leading to. And Paul, he could face Cena after he came out with his music and everything else, but put Paul in some multi-man match. He doesn't need to have this big spotlight match every single year. And I really don't want to see Paul and Cena as Cena's last WrestleMania match. I would like to see Cena, Cody, and Punk in a triple threat if that's what they're going to do. And I feel like we are going to see the tribal chief tonight, Roman Reigns, to cost Seth Rollins. Kind of like how we saw with Logan doing it to Seth. AJ flying all the way out, flying to Saudi to take out LA Knight. So I feel like that's what we're going to see with that. But I'm going to stick with Cena to win this. And I think it's going to be a good match. And there's going to be a lot of storytelling to sell it. Because as I said, with the women, I feel like this is going to obviously build the most WrestleMania matches. So I'm going to stick with my guy, John Cena, though.
Okay, Mike?
Yeah, I think it's 100% John Cena. Like, and I'm going off what they're doing with this is they're building, like the same way with the women's chamber, is that they're building it. There's a lot of moving parts with this one too. There's a lot of matches. Like we may, whether Drew wants or not, I think we're still going to get Drew and Priest, which I think could be a good match. I think CM Punk might still be mixed in with the whole Rollins and Roman Reigns thing. And then Logan, it's either going to be Logan and Punk or it's going to be Logan and Styles. Like the only person that really doesn't have something set already, and it's what they've been building towards since John Cena announced that he was doing this thing, is we're going to get Cena and Cody at WrestleMania. Cena's going to win, and I think he'll hold it maybe to SummerSlam. Like, I think they're going to give him that one ring to put him over the top. But I think, honestly, logically, I think Cena's the only correct answer in my opinion.
Okay.
God,
Okay.
I can't watch Cena with I can't do it. I know
Come
Peacemaker's
on,
coming
man.
out, but I can't do it. I can't do a Cena title match, a title reign for 6 months. I just can't do it. I can't do it. It hurts. It hurts me right here in my soul. It hurts right here.
Just
Better
watch
watch out. The
Peacemaker
Rock
again,
might
you'll
be
be
coming
fine.
for you.
Just watch Peacemaker again, you'll feel better. Plus, the new season's coming out this year, so I'm excited for that.
But I
So
can't.
excited.
He's just not. We're looking at athletes at this point. These guys are all these athletes. John Cena, he's just kind of old now. It's just give me your retirement tour, but don't take all the titles. Don't take the belt away from Cody for that. Like that just kind of hurts me. So
Show up, right? He hasn't even shown up since we haven't seen him since the Rumble.
Right.
Shit.
yeah, Punk was right. He's going to do a retirement tour or whatever, and he's not here. Like
That
come
was
on,
so
man.
funny.
It was so good.
Maybe that was the point. Maybe he was supposed to be gone for a little bit, so we couldn't see him.
Alejandro, final word to you, my friend.
It's gonna be Punk. The last three are gonna be Punk, McIntyre, and Seth. It's gonna come down to who wants to kick CM Punk's ass more, and it'll end up being the demise of both McIntyre and Rollins, unfortunately, because they're gonna be so focused on getting their hands on CM Punk, they're just gonna kill each other over it, and eventually CM Punk's gonna come out victorious. I honestly think that Cena's gonna eliminate it first, and it's gonna be Logan Paul. So
That's not
Interesting.
You can do Cena Logan Paul WrestleMania because Cena gets a WrestleMania win and doesn't hurt anybody's run, on the roster now. Because if it's Cena and Damian Priest, it hurts Damian Priest. If it's Drew McIntyre, it'll hurt him even more than what he's already gone through. So the only logical opponent for Cena at WrestleMania is Logan Paul. So you get Logan to eliminate Cena or cause some sort of shenanigans that cost Cena his match or his spot in the match, and it's gonna come down to CM Punk winning it all. CM Punk versus Cody. Simple as that. That's the only main event that I think is big enough to be the main event of Night 2 of WrestleMania. Punk
That's
gets
correct.
his main event once and for all. And then Cody's gonna either, if he wins, it'll be because of The Rock, and if Punk wins, it's gonna be because of The Rock. So either way, you get two people in the perfect position to establish their next reign. The next maybe 1 or 2 years of wrestling are going to be dependent on that person. And if you're going to pull the trigger on a Punk championship, it has to be now. He doesn't have that much time left in him, unfortunately, to be the top guy. I mean, who knows? Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. You factor in of him not taking painkillers, doing drugs and stuff like that. That could either extend his lifetime in wrestling or it can shorten it, depending on his injuries and what the gravity of his injuries have been and what they've done to him. So, there's no telling how much longer he could last. So pull the trigger now while you can, while he's healthy.
He's a placeholder till Obafemi takes it from him. That's all I'm saying.
Exactly.
That's right.
Big
fella.
It's the X Division title and the TNA title.
That's right.
I mean,
Yep.
Belt collector.
Yeah.
Well, I'm still firmly
made that
Team
song.
Cena on this one, but gentlemen, it has been an absolute pleasure to get to sit down with all of you. Thank you to everybody that joined us tonight. Remember, give us a follow on all social media platforms at mainevent_net. Remember, GorillaPressApparel.BigCartel.com, promo code MEM24, get you 10% off site wide. Real quick, since Mr. OTM wants to hop on and
Crap,
pop
boss
on
is
the
here. Everybody
stream.
look busy.
Hello,
guys.
we're gonna go in
I was
order.
like,
Everybody throw out their socials.
I'm not decent.
Mr. Cincinnati, don't worry. I can take it over from here, buddy. Can you hear me, everyone?
Yep, we got
Yeah.
All right, guys. Like Mr. Cincinnati was alluding to, and by the way, appreciate everybody tuning in and for Eric hosting this show because it was tremendous just watching from behind the scenes. But support our friends over at Gorilla Press Apparel. Visit gorillapressapparel.bigcartel.com and use promo code MEM24. You will save 10% off your order. They are doing great things, not only in the indies, but just for wrestlers themselves. So if you're a professional wrestler, reach out to Will at Gorilla Press Apparel. They are great people over there. Also, guys, if you're interested in buying some main event merch, we have merch available at the OnTheMarkWrestlingPodcast.com. And if you use promo code CHAMBER this week, you will also be saving some money on our website, and it'll be 10% just like Gorilla Press Apparel. But guys, The reason I came onto stream is because we have finally hit 1,000 followers on X. So thank you all. Thank everybody here in this stream because you guys were sharing it and you guys are the ones that are creating content here at the network. So without all of us, we wouldn't have got here. So I am going to share my screen here in a little bit so you guys can chit chat amongst yourselves while I figure this out.
Oh no.
Oh, while we figure this out, I want to throw something out there. I know we're trying to get close to 2,000 here soon. I do want to throw if we hit 2,000, I would like to do something.
Okay.
If possible. For some of those that don't know, I actually trained at House of Glory in New York for a few years.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, shout out.
Right.
You know,
Yeah, boy.
you know, I'm not saying one of the reasons one of the guys from Private Party broke my finger, but that may or may not have happened.
You and Charles Mason. All right.
No, that he was right. He came in after I had left, but yeah, like huge fan of his too. I have a match I did a pre-show match for a show that's on YouTube that nobody's seen because no one knows how to find it. I've only shown it to specific people. When we hit 2,000, I'll post that match on Twitter, and it is not a good match.
Let's go.
If we hit 2,000, I will post that match on YouTube because I know where to find it. I know how to find
Master
it.
P. All right.
It's
we gotta
god
start
awful.
promoting it. So get us like a screenshot or something, and we'll promote it.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not good.
Main event _net is where you're gonna
And
follow.
I'll put it
So
at the
if you
bottom of my
wanna see-
box too. Like, don't forget if we hit 2K, this is what you guys are in for. So it's an exclusive. Nobody's got it. Might work.
Yeah.
It could work. I like that idea there, Mike. We might have to do that for sure. But guys, let's ask Jay Gold here. Let me ask my co-host of NXT Night Shift. Give me a number 1 through 10, and that's how many times I'm going to shuffle the deck here.
6.
Okay. 1,
Let's go.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, guys. So there it is. We had about 24 people that were following us back. You had to be following us, of course, to win this main event network crew neck. It's a nice one, guys. I don't know if you guys have any of them, but they're nice crew necks for sure. So here we go. We're going to spin it one time. Whoever it picks is the winner. So let's get into it. Spin that wheel.
Spin the wheel. This dang wheel.
Make a deal. Spin the wheel.
Oh,
Oh, no way!
Holy shit, I won again!
Freaking- Wait, I swear.
Yes!
Wow.
These
Wow,
things are
how
not rigged.
convenient.
I call shenanigans.
These things are not rigged, but
He's your
this
co-host?
is
Wait.
the second time.
Wow,
that
the
Jay-
co-host one. Wow.
What is
We're
going
gonna-
on?
You know, Jay Gold, we were talking
That's what I'm
before.
talking about.
He was gonna get one regardless,
Uh-huh.
but congrats to Jay Gold
I
on
just did
stream
too.
for being a part of the network and winning
And I had a
free crew
cigar
neck.
ready for the situation. That's what's up.
I was wondering why.
Hey, go
Oh,
play the
guys.
lottery.
Hey,
Play the lottery
like
today.
That's right. I'm going out.
Mr. Cincinnati was getting to it, so let's wrap things up. Mr. Cincinnati, I'll go to you first. What do the wrestling junkies have on the agenda coming up, and where can the people find you?
Follow us at Junkies Pod on X and TikTok. Next week is SCI Rumble, so we got Scott Hensley joining the show. We've got Matt Kelly of WrestleMats making his Junkies Pod debut next week as well. New Wrestle Sips dropping. We'll see what happens with Elimination Chamber. I think that we're going to be dropping a couple of different episodes of that. Support our friends at Coastal Empire Wrestling, Action Wrestling, TWE, ETU, Wrestle Rave, Pandemonium Pro, Arrival, you name it. Go follow us on X. You'll see everybody that we're hanging out with. A bunch of cool people. Thank you guys so much for having me on.
Yeah, I love that podcast. I say it all the time, and I'm sorry if I'm going to offend some people even on this show, but the Wrestling Junkies podcast is my favorite weekly listen. They are live
mine too.
Monday through Thursday. They are consistent.
Nice.
They are cranking out content. They are doing great things here at the Main Event Wrestling
Why are you
Network. Yes.
glazing, Mr. Cincinnati?
Don't worry, I'm
What's
going to put
going on?
everyone over. Don't worry,
Nobody
Tino.
gonna say that.
You know, get the shovel out for Tino. That's it. Jay
Right.
Gold.
Oh, man.
You
I
can
got
follow
my
me.
Bears hat on. I'm surprised. I mean,
You can follow me on the Indie Wrestling Guide, IW Guide 1, or JGold12 on Twitter, Instagram. We are having the one half of Above the Rest. Gabriel Sky is going to come on our show on Monday, and we'll be posting for Thursday. So it is ETU week leading up to their tag team tournament next Sunday. I will be there along with my brother. We're going to be rocking it out. Everybody check it out on the Indie Wrestling Television Network, and check out Gabriel Sky this week.
Hell yeah. And also, guys, if you didn't hear the news, myself and Jay Gold are starting a weekly show here at the Main Event Wrestling Network. NXT Night Shift live after every NXT. So if you want to give us a follow at NXT Night Shift, that's where you're going to catch us. Tino, you're live every single day. Mr. Cincinnati alluded to it. I'm assuming you're going to be live every day next week then, correct?
Pretty much almost every day. Yep, and we'll be live in 35 minutes for Elimination Chambers. So coming in, I'm gonna go heat up some pizza and go back live. So I appreciate you guys having me on.
I'll jump in that comment section again.
Everywhere, Main Event Network, OTM guys, go and check everybody out. But yeah, I appreciate you guys having me on as always, and let's hope this is a good show tonight.
I think it's going to be Paperclip Mike. This is our first time ever interacting. It's nice to finally meet you, sir. But
first time, long time.
That's right. Where can the people find you on all the socials, and what do you got coming up?
Okay, well, like I said, beginning of the show, last week I dropped the first article for It's Real to Me, Damn It. Once again, super proud of that name because it came to me out of nowhere. We did Mr. Nanny, and honestly, that's not a bad movie, even though Hulk Hogan's in it. He's not the best actor. I have this. It's a harmless. Also, R.I.P. to David Johansen, who just passed away today. He actually played the main bad guy in that movie. So, but the next article I'm looking on right now, we're gonna do They Live, the best Roddy Piper movie ever.
Yeah.
Next to Hell Comes to Frogtown, but that's another one I got to do eventually. And then the one after that, because I found this by accident, I showed all you guys the DVD cover of it. There's a movie called Maximum Conviction. It's a direct-to-DVD action movie starring Stone Cold Steve Austin and Steven Seagal.
Hell yeah.
And this is the one I'm thinking of. This is the one where Steven Seagal has a sniper rifle and he's shooting people while sitting in a chair.
Interesting. Okay.
But yeah, like I'm Paperclip Mike everywhere. Like all my wrestling content's here, but I do video game stuff on my YouTube and other stuff I'm launching. But basically, all my socials is Paperclip Mike. So if there's a social that we use, I'm on it. And I just started up my YouTube page again after like 10 years. So follow me on the YouTube, or not YouTube, Facebook.
There you go.
Facebook
everybody.
is the one I just started after 10 years. So
Paperclip Mike in the house, making his debut here for the Elimination Chamber. You love to see it. And the guy that you have seen many of times before. He's like my rival, but he's also my brother at the same time. It's the Great Brown Hope, sir. I know you got stuff in the tank for next week. And
I'm the yin to your yang, to be honest.
You are.
Oh, man. But, I mean, we just started season 3 of Storytime. We had 2 new ones. We had one on Tuesday, one on Thursday. If you guys haven't checked them out, I think you'll enjoy them, to be honest. I think for a little bit, we're going to be doing drops every Tuesday and Thursday. So if you guys like to read, or if you need something to read during your morning dumps, you could read that. We just did an episode of Vicious Chats with Main Event's own Tim Vicious. Me and Tim, we did an interview with Kyle Roscoe, who just had his first wrestling match over at Peak Entertainment. So that one just came out. Other than that, besides this mixer, just working on blogs, working on stuff with you guys behind the scenes, trying to get other people to check out your content and have you guys reach the masses. I'm telling all my friends about you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you are. I think you're the reason we got to 1,000. I acknowledge you.
We all did that. We all did that, man. We all work together. We all do our thing, our own parts, and that's what keeps everything moving. That's what makes it beautiful. So we're gonna be good, man.
Yep, you got that right.
And drink 4 Loco.
Here he goes again. That's the 4 Loco drinking multi-time
I have to say it.
I understand. But guys, we are only 45 minutes away from the Elimination Chamber. My college basketball team is playing, so I got to get there and go watch them lose probably. It has been a pleasure. Mr. Cincinnati, thanks again for hosting. It was a great show. And make sure you're following us at mainevent_net for all things Main Event Wrestling. And we will talk to you guys next time on the Main Event Mixer.